Good day and welcome to Predators Proclivity, where we look at data from the season for the NHL Nashville Predators and make comments upon it. I'm your host, Preston Proctor. And, okay, so 2 days in a row on the weekend. That's not really my jam. But tomorrow's game is at noon. So I thought, well, what the heck? And then we got a back-to-back. We're playing Ottawa tomorrow, playing Ottawa on Monday, and then Toronto on Tuesday. Both of those are in Canada. And speaking of Canada, tomorrow is Canadian Thanksgiving. Eh? So never really followed this before. It's a Canadian holiday. Don't really pay attention, but I guess that's why there's so many early games. Toronto, the team we're playing on Tuesday, is playing tomorrow as well. They have a 1:00 game. They're playing Detroit. They played Detroit on Saturday. They're playing Detroit on Monday. I know we're not talking about Toronto, but seems a little that does seem weird. But I guess the games are early because tomorrow is a holiday in Canada. So, yay. So the Preds will play in Ottawa tomorrow at noon and then go off to Toronto, where the game is at 6:00, which I think is Central Time. So, Toronto's in the Eastern Time Zone, so 7:00 local. So at least there's, at least there's that. They play at noon one day. I guess Ottawa would be in the Eastern Time Zone too. So I guess 1:00 on Monday and then 7:00 on Tuesday. They don't have to travel a horrendous amount. But either way, Canadian Thanksgiving. Like I said, not very familiar with it. I guess since 1879 they've had Canadian Thanksgiving, but it says here, I'm sure the AI overview is completely accurate. Large meal with family and friends featuring roasted turkey stuffing and seasonal vegetables. Sounds kind of familiar. Other traditions enjoy spiced pumpkin pie, or regional dinner dishes like Newfoundland's Jig's Dinner or Ontario's Butter Tarts. Don't know those. Been to Ontario, been to Ottawa. I don't remember that. Or watching Canadian Football League games. So very, very similar to the to American traditions of Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving in Canada tomorrow. Oh, Canada. Oh, Canada, we're playing in Canada. So let's move on. Thank you. This is not your Canadian holiday update show. It is the what is it? Predators Proclivity. Gosh. Ooh, maybe I needed more coffee. All right. Well, so no real open issues. I watching. I really want to go back and look at it again. I think the first goal, my notice of the first goal in the game the other night, struggling to focus on Utah. Thank you, Utah. Thanks, Preston. Was that Willsby Willsby got beat. He was late getting down, and I think that affected it. I sent myself an email about that. I needed to go back and check on it, make sure that's what I meant when I sent that email last night. I think there might have been a little issue there with Willsby. Anyway, yesterday, home game, Utah. Overtime loss, so Preds are 1-0-1, but not what we're talking about right now. Anyway, what were we talking about? Oh, yeah. So training camp updates, training camp or minor league updates, that's maybe what I should call this. I'm not going to, I suppose it doesn't make a lot of sense to be speaking a lot of time about Milwaukee. I just, kind of got invested in some of these players by watching them in training camp. Milwaukee played their first game yesterday, and Jordan Oesterle got the first goal with Cole O'Hara getting the assist, and then Joey Willis got an unassisted just after shorthanded goal. Matt Murray was in goal. They lost their first game in overtime, so they lost in overtime last night, just like the Preds, and they lost to the Rockford Ice Hogs. Other things interesting of note. O'Hara is one of the guys I was really hoping would make the team. Oesterle I thought would, but you only have so many people. All of those players were at the Nashville training camp. I don't think there's anybody playing for Milwaukee who's not. And speaking of which, as far as the players go, Kevin Gravel is the captain of the team. And it was on the line with Ufko. Ufko, another one of the guys I really enjoyed watching. And the assistant captains are Jake Lucchini, one of my favorites, and Kyle Marino, somebody I did note a couple of things about. But Lucchini, another one of those players that I really thought had a chance to make the Preds. And then as far as Atlanta goes, they are still in training camp. They had an inter-squad game yesterday. I didn't recognize any of the names that played, any of the skaters. They had 3 goaltenders, and 2 of them were in training camp with the Preds, Heider and Semtem Helter. I really shouldn't try to say that without it spelled out in front of me. Semtem Helter. But anyway, so that's your training camp / minor league update. Very, very exciting here at the beginning of the program. Transaction watch, nothing new. No, not surprising. Wood was shipped to Milwaukee, but he did not play yesterday. He was not in the lineup, so he was sent to Milwaukee. He's still injured. I'm sure that's probably rehab once he comes off injured reserve, and he'll have a chance to play, that kind of thing. I guess we'll see as that goes. And Haig was already injured, so Nick Haig. Okay, so that's transactions. As far as our opponents go, the Ottawa Senators. They are tied for 4th they are not in the Central Division. You gotta update this stuff, dude. Atlantic Division. With 2 points. They've got a win and a loss, so they have 2 points. That's good enough for 4th in the Atlantic Division. I'm sorry, 6th. I really did not update my script. I thought I did. They are 6th. Let's start over. The Ottawa Senators are 6th. Nice, not 8th, 6th. Who's editing this stuff? Got to go check with my staff and see what the heck's going on here. The good thing I've got other stuff up here. Yeah, the Ottawa Senators, they're leading the Metropolitan Division. They've got 15 points. They've won 3 games and lost 7. Wow. More coffee for everybody. The coffee. Let's get that coffee subscription renewed. The Ottawa Senators are 6th in the Atlantic Division with 2 points. 2 points. They are tied with Toronto and Detroit, who are playing, who played yesterday and are playing again tomorrow. And take a quick look here. The Detroit won. So Detroit won that game. Toronto beat the Canadiens and lost to Detroit. So Detroit and Toronto are tied with Ottawa at 2 points. They have Toronto listed first in the standings, and then Detroit and Ottawa, which doesn't make, I guess it's not head-to-head. I guess goals for must be the first to turn it, but who cares? There's only been a couple of games so far, and we're not really talking about Toronto today. But Ottawa is right there in the middle of the Atlantic Conference. They haven't been knocked out yet. Anywho, Ottawa has had two tough opponents so far this year, Tampa Bay and Florida. Ottawa is on kind of the same schedule that Nashville is as far as games that they're playing up until Tuesday when they don't play. But they played Tampa Bay on Thursday and then Florida on Saturday, and beat Tampa Bay, lost at Florida. So that makes them 1-1. Monday's game is their home opener, and hello and goodbye, because it's a one-game homestand. So they will play one game at home and then go to Buffalo and then play 4 more at home. So at least they'll have a few games at home then, but this game against the Preds is their home opener. So that should be fun. This is the first game of 2 versus Ottawa. We play Ottawa again in January. Last year, Ottawa swept Nashville 3-1 in Nashville and 5-2 in Ottawa. Last year, Ottawa was 4th in the Atlantic Division and was the first wild card team, losing in 6 games to Toronto. They did win games 4 and 5. So Toronto won the first 3 games. Ottawa came back and won 2, and then that wasn't enough. In the draft, Ottawa did have a pick in every round. They traded their second-round pick, though, to L.A. for defenseman Jordan Spence. So they got 1 pick a round, and that was it. None of those picks are currently on their roster. Jordan Spence, the person they traded for, is, though. Notable people missing, primarily Adam Gaudette. He is now with San Jose, which makes San Jose a little bit more dangerous because Gaudette had a really high shooting percentage. Didn't take a lot of shots. I think about 90 last year. I think that's what I saw. But had a 21% shooting percentage. So he, somebody to watch out for. But he's with San Jose, so we don't need to worry about it on Monday. The other person missing is Anton Forsberg, who is with the Kings now. He did play 1 game against Nashville last year, but he is also no longer with Ottawa. New people with Ottawa of any note, not a lot of note, but Arthur Kaliev from the Rangers, Ollie Lykesell, and then not from Ottawa. And then Lars Eller from Washington. Okay, I definitely need to get more coffee going here. That's the problem with doing this working on a Sunday. Anyway, let's move on. Injured, they have 2 people on the injured list, which is better than Utah, but didn't seem to slow Utah down. Number 19, right wing Drake Batherson is day-to-day, expected back on Monday, so he could be in the lineup. Definitely somebody that they would miss if he's not there. I think he was like 2nd in points last year. We'll get to that later, but Batherson day-to-day. The other, number 43, defenseman Tyler Clevin, day-to-day, also expected tomorrow. So given that situation, those 2 guys may be available for tomorrow's game. So hopefully, I hate to see anybody out for injury. For your Nashville Predators, 3rd in the Central Division, Okay, let's go check our. There we go. Third in the Central Division. Yes, solely, firmly, decidedly in third position in a playoff spot. Playoff spot. Third in the Central Conference. Not even a wild card. Firmly in third. 1 point behind Dallas, 2 behind Colorado. Colorado's on a tear. I guess Colorado lost in overtime, 2-0-1. Whew. Minnesota, 2 points. Winnipeg, 2. St. Louis, 2. Utah, 2. Chicago, 1 point so far. They are 0-2-1. We'll talk about Chicago later. Not in this broadcast, but I'm sure we'll have plenty of opportunities to talk about Chicago. And but yeah, so the Preds are currently third place in the Central, 3 points, 1-0-1. Tomorrow, Monday's game is the first game of a 4-game road trip across Canada. It is also the front end of a back-to-back where we'll play Toronto on Tuesday, then Montreal on Thursday, and Saturday, Winnipeg. The good news, Toronto is also playing a back-to-back. Ottawa is not, but it's the first game, so that's not as... it does have an effect. The fact you're playing a back-to-back does have an effect on how you set up your lineup for the 2 games. So Ottawa is in a little bit better position because they're not. Toronto is playing a back-to-back, and when Toronto and Nashville play, it will be the back end of a back-to-back. So that kind of puts those 2 teams on an even footing. Notable personnel changes. Defenseman Nicholas Hague is still week to week, expected back on the 23rd. Okay, so for statistics, again, we don't really have enough games to do this, so I kind of allude to it and skip away. Yeah, skip away. Yeah, it does seem like we've had way too many penalties already in the first couple games. Stamkos got a double minor yesterday. They got another penalty, and I don't like it. I really don't like it. I don't like having so many penalties. The good news is it hasn't really kind of come back yet. It looks like currently Nashville is at a 33% rate of scoring on power plays in the third period, which is handy. And I think they haven't given up a power play goal yet. I think that's right. I mean, they've only played so many games. You'd think I'd know. Nashville got a just after goal the other night. They got and just after shorthanded here in the game against Utah. And Columbus, they got a power play goal, but they have not given up one yet. So, I mean, 2 games in. I mean, still, you got to like it. You know, I mean, herald the victories when you get them. So, yeah, and, you know, so far, you know, I love this stat, which is the first goal stat. Yeah, then the Preds got the first goal in the first game and won that game, and then didn't get the first goal in the second game and lost, and so that's just a little too freaky for me. Yeah. Anyway, so that's 100% correlation between the first goal and winning right now. So, you know, we really got to have a little bit more games. I kind of like having the 4 games on the road, because then, you know, 4 games, again, we'll only have 6 games total. It's really not enough to start making projections and understanding where they're at. But 4 games, 4 4 road games will be a start to have a body of work to start to so take a look and see trends. I mean, trends are kind of where we're at. And I guess as far as for those of you that might be new to the show, just after goals, that's a term I came up with. I think what I've heard before is continuation, and I just I started with just after because I couldn't remember the term, and I like just after. It looks better in my spreadsheet, but a lot of times when you're shorthanded or when you're on a power play, you get a lot of momentum by being successful, putting a lot of pressure, and so you could be on the power play, and then I think it was against Utah on the power play, and then there was a goal scored. I don't see where the goal was scored. I'm looking at that, but they did score a goal like within a minute. I think that time was within like about 30 seconds of the power play, and so you can say that a lot of times when you get a power play and you get a lot of momentum and then you score just after it's over, that scoring was caused because of with help from the fact that you were on a power play. So I like to track that as a just after goal. And similarly, you can get a lot of momentum by having a very solid penalty kill and then score after, which the Preds did. That was a minute after. The power play for Utah got over. Oh, no, wait a minute. I got that backwards again. I guess that was another short. No. That was when Utah scored. Utah scored at 12 minutes and 37 seconds. 11 minutes and 37 seconds, and the Preds penalty power play was over at 10 minutes and 37 seconds. So it was right at the 1 minute mark. So I really stared at my spreadsheet so it's 1 minute or less. Okay, fine. And so so Utah got a just after shorthanded goal on Saturday. So the Preds got a power play just after goal on the power play, and Utah got one just after shorthanded. So the special teams play in that game wound up being even. No advantage in either case. In the Columbus game, the Preds got a power play goal, and Columbus didn't get any of the notable things. So, talking a lot about stats without having anything to say. That's my forte. As far as things that we can talk about, let's look at the matchups. So again, let's kind of look at last year's numbers so far, because some teams have played 1, some played 2, 3. And it's so early that I don't find those numbers to be terribly interesting. There's one number I think really interesting. We'll get to that later. But as far as goals for, Ottawa was middle of the pack last year, 19th. Goals against, also middle of the pack, 20th last year. The interesting thing that I saw about Ottawa was that over the season, very evenly distributed for one, at least in goals for, but always up. It seemed, with a lot of teams, especially like the Preds score more in the second period, and they have more goals scored against them in the second period than the other periods. And, the trend in the NHL is for a higher number of goals to be scored between the first and the second and third. Last year, 29% of the goals were scored in the first period, 33% in the second, and 36% in the third. A 7% increase in goal scoring between the second period and the third period, a 15% increase between the first period and the second period. So you can kind of take those numbers and look at it and say, okay, well, where was the teams? Did they underperform as far as, the Preds underperformed as far as scoring? But as far as, they scored 64 goals in the first, and on average, teams scored 15% more goals in the second. Well, so what does that mean for the Preds? Well, basically that's, you just quick math, say that's 8. So 72, 73 goals, and they scored 75. So slightly above average. And then the thing is, in the third period last year, the Preds went down to 69 in the third from 75, whereas league-wide scoring went up 7%. So definitely underperforming in the third. But correspondingly, not giving up as many. But, the Preds last year were third in the league in giving up goals in the second period. So they were ninth in the league in the third period, which, based better than the third, but still not good overall. The Senators, on the other hand, more kind of in line, 73 goals in the first, 79 in the second, 81 in the third as far as goals for. And then when it comes to goals against, 65 in the first, 76 in the second, and 86 in the third. So the first period, they're 8 goals better scoring. In the second period, 3. And then the third period, they gave up more goals than they scored. So you kind of see a trend there. And, but that's last year. Not significant changes on their lineup, but it is a different year. That was an entire body of work, and one single game is not going to necessarily reflect any of that. But that can just kind of show you where they were at. Interesting thing, Ottawa in goals against was 18th in the league, both in the second and third period, and 23rd in the first. So definitely one of the teams in the league in the bottom half of scoring against. So that's good for them, not good for the Preds. But this is a different season, so we're not talking about that. But where they weren't necessarily, again, I guess just what you say is we're right in the middle of the league again. And the penalty kill, they're 19th last year, 77.7%. Preds were really good in the penalty kill last year. Knock on wood. So good so far this year. It's great. And the 19th in the league last year, 77.7%. 51 goals against with 229 opportunities. So they had 6 more goals scored against them on 14 less opportunities than the Preds. So the Preds definitely in a better situation there. Shorthanded goals, they scored 9. They scored 9 shorthanded goals, which made them 8th in the league. So again, that's again on 229 opportunities, but nine shorthanded goals. When it comes to the power play, their power play, again, above 20%, above the Preds, 11th in the league, so pretty good, 23.8%. 64 goals scored on 269 opportunities, so an additional 14 goals on 41 opportunities. And here they only gave up 3 shorthanded goals, which is 31st in the league. So there's only one team not even been tied. I didn't note that. As far as penalty kill opportunities, they were 14th in the league, and as far as power play opportunities, they were first. So last year, if any team in the league was likely to be on the power play, it was Ottawa. So I guess they are good at drawing penalties would be the thing to note, or one way or another. They're either good at drawing them or they put other people in position where they have to, which I guess is still drawing them, but, I can kind of look at it. It's like a couple different ways, but a new season, but still, looking that Ottawa probably, as many penalties. I'm really concerned. I guess what I haven't done is gone back and taken a look at last year and said, okay, well, what's the difference here? The Preds were on 5 power play opportunities in both games, and then the opponents were one for Columbus and 4 against Utah. So I guess maybe the Columbus game wasn't as bad as I thought. But you get some of these coincidental penalties, like there was a coincidental penalty last night's game. What was it? I forgot. I think at 9.5 minutes in the second period, and so they just kind of washed it out, and the guys had to sit on the bench and no advantage. So I'm not really tracking that because there was an advantage to a team. They just washed them out, and haven't really thought. I haven't really figured out what I would do with that. I mean, I know I'm tracking a lot of data that I don't know what I'm going to do with, except talk about how I've got this data. And I don't really know what to do with it. I guess that's something, but not really quite as interesting as you might think. And that's from this side of the microphone. I'm sure on that side of the microphone, it's even less interesting. So let's stop that discussion and let's move on. And what are we going to move on to? Let's move on to goaltenders. Okay. Well, who do we got in Ottawa? Ottawa has 3 goaltenders listed on their roster, and all 3 were with them last year. Forsberg was the 4th, and he was the one that had more games than the other 2, but he's in LA now, so not counting him. But Linus Ullmark got the most work last year, 25, 14, and 3. He's been in goal both times so far this year, so he's 1-1. Then they got Levi Merilainen. I think I'm not sure how I'd say that any other way. So Levi Merilainen was 8-3-1 last year, and Mads Søgaard 1-1-0. So that's their goaltending gear. Last year, Ullmark was in goal for the first game. That was a win for Ottawa. It was 3-1 here in Nashville. As far as where Ottawa was at that particular time, they had won the game coming in. They'd lost a couple before, but they won the previous game. And then they lost a game and went on a 6-game winning streak. So they kind of were getting into, seemed like they were kind of getting their mojo around when they came into Nashville. As far as the second game went, Forsberg was in goal. Again, a win for Ottawa, 5-2 in Ottawa. I guess, unfortunately for Ottawa, it was the last game of a 5-game winning streak, and then they went on to lose the next 5 games. They still made the playoffs, but not really kind of where they probably wanted to be. I think last year the game was in January as well. So it wasn't near the end of the year, but so this was the end of a 5-game winning streak, lost the next 5. I don't really see any reason that Ullmark will not be the starting goaltender. He's played the 2 games to date, and they're not in a back-to-back situation. So I would expect Ullmark to be in goal for Ottawa on Monday. Nashville, UC Saros has been in goal for both of them, 1-0-1. Justice Noonan is the backup. Last year against Ottawa, Saros was in goal for both of them. So again, both losses. Both of the times we met, Ottawa was in a losing streak. The first time it was the 8th game of a 9-game losing streak, and the second time it was the 5th game of a 6-game losing streak. So I don't know. The fact that it was kind of near the end of a losing streak, maybe it wound up helping, whatever. Anyway, losing streak. But yeah, the next to last game of 2 losing streaks. It's kind of odd. A little too much symmetry there for me. This game with Ottawa is a back-to-back situation, so I am expecting a Noonan to get a start. At some point, he's going to get more reps. He's going to get more starts. You like to have your starting goaltender kind of in goal. But I went back and looked. Nashville also last year had a back-to-back fairly early in the season, games 7 and 8, and Wedgwood played on the back end of it. So last year, similar situation, and the backup goaltender did play. Interesting, just kind of looking at who, because we're playing Toronto in the back-to-back, so that could influence who's playing against Ottawa. Last year, both times we played Toronto last year were both times the front end of back-to-backs. There was a loss in Toronto and a win in Nashville. Saros was in goal for both. So last year, Saros was in goal for both games against Toronto. He's in goal for both games against Ottawa. I noticed Toronto's higher in the standings. I'm looking at this and I just kind of feel like Ottawa's the better team between Ottawa and Toronto. And so I'm thinking We'll get Saros in goal with Ottawa, and then Anunen in Toronto. But I think that both goaltenders are going to be playing in this back-to-back situation. Okay, people to watch. Ottawa. The number one in goals for them last year, number 7 left wing Brady Tkachuk, who when we met him the second time in January was second in the league in penalties, finished at 4th in the league in penalties with 123. And so, first in goals, he's fourth in points, first in shots. Then you get number 19 right wing Drake Batherson, who is a day-to-day guy. He's second in goal, third in assists, so he's second in points, 68, third in shots, 192. Number 18 center Tim Stutzel, third in goals, first in assists, first in points, fifth in time on ice. So he is the center or the forward that tends to spend more time on the ice, kind of the Ryan O'Reilly situation for Nashville. And then number 85 defenseman Jake Sanderson, second in assists and third in points. Last year he was second worst in plus minus, first in time on ice. So those kind of things kind of go together. 24 minutes, 26 seconds. So not as long as Yossi, but he's also second in shots, which is kind of interesting. So he's first in time on ice and second in shooting and second in assists. So I think definitely somebody to watch, and he's going to be on the ice enough that he'll be there. So, 85, definitely 7, 19 if he's there. But the one guy I want to call out, his stats last year were average, as far as I could tell. It was. But this year, number 12, Shane Pinto. I need to pull this up real quick if I can. Shane Pinto has how to put it. Ottawa has 7 goals and he's got 4 of them. And now I'm not even sure what I'm looking up. Shane Pinto, number 12, his shooting percentage is 57%. So he's got 4 goals on 7 shots. And that, you can't just wipe that away and say it's been 2 games. Maybe the course of the season, he might not quite be there. So what I'm seeing here on Puckpedia is that he centers the third line. Greg and Garreau. There you go. Greg, Garreau, and Pinto. So he centers the third line, and I think that makes him dangerous because, at the end of the season, maybe he only has 10 goals. Probably not. Probably have more goals than that. But right now, he's like the hottest player for Ottawa. So I think number 12, I think we should be paying attention to, and hopefully I'm not the only one that's noticed that. So Tkachuk and Stutzel, looks like those 2 guys play on the first line with Zetterlund. And then where's Batherson? Right, he's injured, so they're not showing Batherson in the lineup. But I don't think that's. I'm not sure where. Maybe he would be right wing on that thing because Zetterlund. I don't know Zetterlund. Amadio. So we do have. What's it? Michael Amadio? Yeah. Michael Amadio. The stats aren't outstanding, but the name, the name sounds very familiar. Okay, let's just be honest here. Probably because he played for the Kings, but I'm getting better. I am getting better. Oh yeah, because he played for the Kings. Yeah, yeah. Michael Amadio. Yeah, played for the Kings for 4 years. Hasn't played for them for a while, but anyway, still. Been with Ottawa for 2 years. Played for played for the Knights. Played for Vegas for 3. So much for that. Anyway, yeah. So number 12, Shane Pinto, I think should be on everybody's watch list. Brady Tkachuk, number 7, obviously, and then I expect 19 Batherson to be in there. So 7, 19, and 12 would definitely kind of the guys to watch. So far for the Preds, there's no standout. I think the highest goal is 1, the highest assist is 1. Things are being spread around really well, which is great. And again, for those of you that might be listening to this that are not as familiar with the Preds, the people to watch, anybody with a 9 in their number or divisible by 9. So number 9, Forsberg, 91, Stamkos, number 90, Ryan O'Reilly, number 59, Roman Josi, and then 81, Jonathan Marchessault. So that's the people to the main players to really keep it up with. Stamkos last year did have a 15.5% shooting percentage. I don't think that there's I don't think the shooting percentages are I did not check. I'm just going to be honest, but I'll take a quick look here. Because the goals are kind of spread around, 33%. So Haula, O'Reilly, and Bunting are all 33% on shooting percentage with 3 shots each. And hey, guess what? 1 goal each. So no surprise there. Roman Josi still leading the time on ice, followed by Brady Skjei, and then Ryan O'Reilly. Yeah, last year O'Reilly was 4th on the team, 1859, and he is 20 minutes 18. 2018, 3rd on the team in time on ice, followed by Perbix. And then shortly behind that is Forsberg and Stamkos. Forsberg. Stamkos is 2 minutes or a minute and a half behind Forsberg. But yeah, O'Reilly's time on ice is up this year from last year overall anyway. Yeah, but those are the people to pay attention to. So there you go. That's Ottawa and Nashville. It's a new season. Ottawa's 1-1. They beat Tampa Bay, lost to Florida. Nashville has won the first game and then overtime loss. So both teams have, pretty decent momentum. The person with momentum is Shane Pinto, number 12, Shane Pinto. So hopefully we don't get caught out not paying attention to him. But yeah. So that's your game. It's a 12 o'clock Central, 1 o'clock Eastern game on Monday, Canada Thanksgiving Day. And yeah, hey, go Preds. Thanks for listening. I'm Preston Proctor. You've been listening to Predators Proclivity.